Hello everyone, what's going on? I am Duran with Sunrise Gaming. I'm joined by Lax today. Say hi, Lax.
How's it going, everybody?
Today we're going to be discussing Zenyatta, the everybody's favorite Omnic, the support healer, but more of a damage dealer at the same time. Zenyatta is a very interesting character and has a very high pick rate. It's very popular and competitive for the utility he brings and the damage that he does. So, Lax, how you doing?
I am doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing good. You ready to discuss some Zenyatta today?
Yes, I absolutely love Zenyatta. I love him to death, so I can't wait to discuss him.
Everybody's favorite Omnic, besides Bastion. All right, so let's go ahead and break it down. Traditional Sunrise Gaming. How should I say this? Tradition. What do you think is, in your opinion, Zenyatta's best skin?
You have to go with the Sanzang from the Year of the Rooster. I'm sorry, it's the coolest. Not either that or the Nutcracker, just because he has little nuts floating around his neck. But I think the Sanzang one is definitely the
Yes,
coolest because
the
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 face just
latest
looks so
skin.
cool.
Yeah, the latest skin that has been released for him is very popular. It's really awesome. New face, not new animations, new skins and whatnot. Is really cool. So, I have to agree with you. I'm a fan of the Nutcracker just because of his kind of trolly.
Yeah,
And
that was my first ever legendary skin, as a matter of fact.
oh, really? That's awesome.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, I remember that we were playing during Christmas time, and you got it, and you were really
I
excited.
freaked out.
You freaked out and like exploded. It was pretty funny. Um, okay, so Nutcracker or not, Zenyatta is listed in the support category. But what is Zenyatta's role exactly in a team fight?
I think his role is target specification. So say that somebody is kind of low or there's somebody that's dealing a lot of damage to your team, he can throw his Orb of Discord on them and that tells everybody around him, hey, we need to focus on this target, right?
Shot caller.
So, yeah, exactly. So if you have a good Zenyatta that knows what he's doing and can figure out who needs to die when, that Discord can deal essentially equate to a lot of damage being done to the enemy team.
Right. So his role is a shot caller, targets, making starting a play.
Definitely, I would
He
say so.
he doesn't initiate, but when somebody initiates, he makes the first move,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, definitely.
Um, so since most people are gonna know what we're talking about here, but with his skills, what is the orb of discord?
So the orb is an automatic thing that you can place on an enemy player. So you just press E and it automatically goes to it as long as they're in line of sight. It goes to them and it increases the amount of damage that they can take. So when you're normally shooting them, if let's say you throw one ball at them or orb and it hits them, it would be increased by whatever factor if Discord is on them, and that's true for all of the people on your team as well.
So it's basically like a armor penetration, just overall
Yeah, yeah,
taking
just a
too much
damage
damage.
amplifier. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is, and it can only be on one target at a time.
And they have to be in line of sight or else it goes away for a few seconds.
Gotcha. So you do lose the orb. So that's one way to counter Zenyatta. If you get the orb on you,
To
you can
hide.
hide. Just hide. So anyway, his skill, the Orb of Harmony. Let's talk about that. It's left
Yes.
shift.
Yeah, so the Orb of Harmony is his left shift ability, and he can throw it on any ally that's in line of sight, and it heals him over time. So it's a constant healing, meaning that you can't like amplify it or deregulate it like Anna's with a bio grenade or whatever. Um, so you can essentially throw it on an ally, it starts healing them, and then you can look away and do something else. So that's what makes him very versatile.
Bringing the damage, but also bringing the healing to one target at a time.
Exactly. He can throw. You can have an orb out of Discord out and the orb of Harmony out at the same time. So you're healing your team and amplifying the damage against the other team. It's really good.
Very versatile healer, I'd say.
Definitely.
Okay. Let's talk about his attacks. Why is he considered an offensive support besides the Orb of Discord? Why is
He's
he?
considered an offensive support because his main left click attack is it's not a hit scan. It is a projectile, but it's very fast moving. So if you can kind of just aim in front of your target a little bit, you can hit them fairly easily with enough practice. And it does a fairly significant amount of damage. I know if you're just hitting body shots, I think it's maybe 3 or 4 shots to kill a squishy, and then if you're doing headshots too. So if you are really good with him, you can really line up a lot of kills.
Especially if you use your own Orb of Discord to help bring
Yeah,
somebody down.
as soon as you see a target, you throw your Discord, and then you just start pelting them with your projectiles.
Exactly. It's very good. And also his right-click ability has something to do with the orbs as well.
Yeah, so his right click basically charges up the projectiles, and you can shoot them all essentially at the same time. I mean, there's a slight delay, but I think you can charge up to 6, I want to say.
5.
5. And you charge it all up, and then you release it all at once. So if you know somebody's around the corner, you can kind of sit there charging up and then peek around the corner and shoot them with 5 orbs straight to the face and get essentially an insta-kill, especially if the Orb of Discord's on them. So he's definitely deadly.
Yeah, very deadly for being a support character. It's kind of like a Symmetra, but a ranged.
Yeah, one that can actually heal.
One that can heal as well. Let's talk about his ultimate. Why it's considered probably one of the best support ultimates in the game.
I think it definitely might be the best because it essentially negates every single other ultimate. I mean, you can heal through pretty much every other ultimate except for maybe a straight Junkrat tire to the face or a Diva ult to the face, but everybody knows to scatter. So you could heal through essentially any ultimate with it. A Reaper pops his ult, a Soldier pops his ult, you pop yours, and they just wasted theirs essentially.
It does an incredible amount of healing. It basically keeps everybody fully healed instantly for the duration. When I've noticed it's used a lot when the enemy team's Zarya uses her ultimate and groups up your team, and they're coming in to smack you down and put the hurting on you. The Zenyatta pops the ult and keeps everybody alive.
You can pretty much heal through anything that they could throw at you because it has to deal with area of effect, so you have to be close to Zenyatta to get the healing from them. But if you're all grouped up like that, it's essentially, they just wasted their Zarya ult pretty much.
It's a giant dome around you, so as long as you're in that dome, you're going to be okay. Problem is making sure Zenyatta, stays where he needs to be.
Yeah, he is invulnerable, but he can be moved around. Like, Reinhardt can technically pin him, but he just won't take any damage.
He can be knocked
so he
back
can't.
and stuff.
Yeah, he can be knocked back. Lucio can boop him. So he can be moved around. So you got to be careful, like not to try to pop it near any edges. But ultimately, you use that to negate whatever the other team's doing. Especially like if you're really just starting to get beaten up and you just need to survive the next couple seconds. Pop Transcendence.
Right. Do you recommend it being used offensively to secure a point, secure an objective?
A lot of times you want to use a support ult on an initiation to really win a fight. An example of that is the Lucio ult. And Lucio we'll cover later, but he pretty much gives everybody a big old shield sort of thing, a health boost, and that way you have more health to expend and you can boost through. Transcendence doesn't really work like that because you have to take damage in order for Transcendence to become a thing, in order to actually heal you.
Right.
So it gives you kind of a security, but unless your whole team is kind of close to you, it's not going to be that effective. You can definitely, yeah, essentially. So if you're moving through with a death ball, if you're in like a triple tank and you're speeding through a choke and you have to take the point right away, yes, you can use it. I usually recommend it to be held defensively, especially if the other team is holding.
It does take a while to charge, I imagine.
I mean, if you're a really good a really good Zenyatta, you can definitely charge it fairly quickly, but it is one of the slower ultimates to charge in the game because I think it is so powerful.
So impactful, yeah, it's very impactful. Okay, so a couple more questions here. Do you see changes in the future for Zenyatta, or do you think he's in a good place? He's got a very high pick rate.
Honestly, I don't know what they can do to change him. I think he's right where you want a sort of deadly support to be, He can heal, he can increase damage, and he can do his own fairly decent damage. And honestly, he's kind of a harder support to play. Not the hardest, but not the easiest. He's kind of in the middle. So unless they wanted to make him more complicated, because he is, you press left shift, you send an orb, you press E, you send an orb. Like, that's all he really does. But there's so much more that goes in behind him, learning game sense, learning who needs to die, when they need to die, are we okay, all these kinds of things. I think he's fine where he is, but I could see them maybe making him slightly more complicated, maybe changing up the orbs a little bit. They're not overpowered, but they're just, it's simple. You just press one button. So Maybe something like
There
that.
was a very small patch that was tested on the PTR where Zen could actually shoot his orbs through shields, but that is
Yeah,
still
that I think would be kind of broken. If you really wanted to just destroy tanks, you just throw it on them through the Rhine shield. I don't know about that.
yeah. It seemed like that was a little strong. Blizzard thought it was a good idea, and then they said, you know
Well,
what?
Blizzard hates the triple tank meta, so
Yeah, they're doing everything they
they're just
can to
trying to
kill him.
destroy that.
Gotcha. And Zenyatta is the leader, if that was the case. He is the tank destroyer, but next to Reaper.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
okay. So our last question: do you recommend Zenyatta for new players? You briefly touched on it, but elaborate.
I don't. I mainly stick with if you're gonna learn support for a new player, you should stick to either Lucio or Mercy. Now, it's argued that Lucio has a very high
Skill ceiling.
skill ceiling, and I agree. But like for what you'll be doing in quick play and lower levels of competitive, like you're fine sticking with Lucio. And Mercy is just a good character in general, even though we all have our opinions. Um, she's good in general to learn and to learn game sense and stuff like that. Zen, if you're not supplying the damage a little bit with Zen, you don't have to be getting every single kill. But if you're not supplying the damage with Zenyatta, then you're not really doing your job. And if your orbs aren't out almost all the time, then you're not doing your job. Your orb of discord needs to be out 100% of the time. Your harmony orb only should be sent out when somebody is at half health or close to getting to half health. So learning about who to throw it to. Do I throw it on a tank or do I throw it on the diving character? Do I throw it on the other support because a lot of times supports can't heal each other? These kinds of things, and then obviously just mechanical skill with learning how to shoot the projectiles. I always say learn Lucio, learn Mercy first, and then start bridging into Zenyatta because he is slightly a little bit more complicated.
Gotcha. So, all in all, Zenyatta is an excellent support character. He has seen so much in the competitive scene, especially on dive comps. He's just a great support, but he's extremely offensive. To sum up here, overall, is Zenyatta one of the best characters in the game, design-wise?
I think for what he is supposed to do, he is probably the best character at what he's supposed to do.
Good,
He's a
because
great
everybody stands
support.
out.
Yeah, he's a great support and he deals damage, and it's great. I think he's a 100% really well worked character.
Absolutely. He's very unique. He's very interesting. He's actually got some really cool skins that we discussed about in the beginning of the video. And all in all, he's from what I've been told from Zenyatta mains, he's a very fun character to play.
He is a lot of fun.
Just not great for new players. To wrap up here, we're going to go over all our social media. Will be linked down below. You can follow us on Twitter, here on YouTube. Hit that like and subscribe button if you've enjoyed the video. All our Twitch stuff is done at twitch.tv/sunrise_gaming1. We stream there every night, starting right around 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We go for 2 or 3 hours. Be sure to hit us up on that to watch us tilt live, which happens very frequently. We're working on staying positive and not tilting. Last night we had a very tilted... We still won the match, but we had a very tilted Pharah on our team and was yelling at me, the Zarya, for some reason. So, I don't know. We still won. I don't understand why he was so tilted. So, but it's always enjoyable to watch. Come hang out with our community. Other than that, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for coming in today, Lax. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Waking up, I'm taking chances tonight. I'm opening my eyes and I'm feeling